for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio. For the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? Today's Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? All right. I know you've been waiting for this. Tonight, very special guest all the way from Israel. URI Geller joins the show for the first time. Get ready for that. He'll be with us at the bottom of the hour. Tomorrow night, it is the Beard of Knowledge. That's right, Randall Carlson is back. Can't wait. Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Let's get this thing cracking. I'm ready. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Man, my chair, that's it. I'm going with the low chair tonight. Let me adjust the cameras. Going with the low chair. See, it changes the view, changes the viewing angle, right? You get less guitars and more flashing lights and equipment. But, you know, that's, I like the guitars in the background. So, have to wait. There you go. All right. I'm comfortable. I'm comfy. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. You want to start right there. And tonight, you're going to want to use hashtag F2B. You're going to want to jump into the sandbox. We've got a lot going on tonight with Mr. Geller out of Israel. And I can't wait. There's going to be some more information I'm going to give you in just a little bit about what's happening. Okay? All right? So you just get ready for that. You can also email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. All of our chat rooms are open. Spreaker, KGRA, the Planet, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Where else? What am I leaving off? Too many things. Too many streaming syndicators going on out there. But hello to everybody. I'm going to stop by YouTube tonight. I'm going to say hello to everybody in there. So get ready for that. Same thing on Twitter and on Facebook. Okay, so, oh man, let's go. Any questions or comments tonight? Hashtag F2BQ. That is, of course, Fade to Black questions. Let's got a lot to talk about tonight. I got a lot of talk. It's all about synchronicities. Man, they happen all the time. Very trippy. And I went through one last night. It was just very strange. Went through synchronicity last night, live on the air with all of you. And our guest last night was Adam Apollo. And the conversation was great, and we got to the end of the show, and I wanted to head into overtime with Adam, and I know that he's an hour ahead. It's a little bit later in things, and I didn't ask him about that before the show. It's just I kind of set him up for it because I made sure that we were in the middle of some deep stuff at the bottom of the hour because I wanted to keep the conversation going, and he couldn't say no. So I did that. And when I did, he said, man, I got to be up tomorrow, Jimmy, so let's only do one more segment because tomorrow I've got the Disclosure Fest live stream. And I went, what? Oh, man, that's right. So do I. I'm the host of that. And all of this, booking the show with Adam, all of that happens in advance. And the Disclosure Fest live stream, which I host 2 days a week, right before Fade to Black, which is a lot of fun, but I don't always know who the guests are until right before we do the show, and I certainly forgot about Adam being on the next day. That had nothing to do with the other. Disclosure Fest is booked by another team of producers, and, Adrian Valera and Neil Gower and that whole team that's over there. So, but anyway, it was just like a really strange thing that the universe is always doing things like that, especially with a guest like Adam Apollo, where what are the odds, right, of hanging out? So today with Adam, right, 2 nights in a row, and today Adam and I laughed about it to go and do that. Well, there are some more synchronicities that are happening right now, and you just cannot ignore them when they happen. You just can't do it. Can't do it. More on that in just a bit. All right? And I hope that you take advantage of those synchronicities when they pop up in front of you. Really quick, let me get a few things out of the way. And today's Telepath newsletter, which I just went out, I spoke about, I did this last week and I modified things a little bit today in the newsletter because of what I was going through again today. And I've been struggling with this along with Renee over the last few weeks, trying to get news stories that aren't coronavirus. And if you go to any mass media news outlet, your local news, whatever, just go and try to find stories that aren't coronavirus related or Tiger King. And even Tiger King has faded away. But anyway, you just can't do it. You can't do it. It's not out there. It's absolutely bizarre. We've gathered up some news today, and thank you, Renee, for all of your help on this. But it's tough to do. It's really strange. It's a bizarre thing. Also, all related to synchronicities, and I'll get around to that. So let me remind everybody my public service announcement, and now is the time to get your immune system in check. Today, I went out to a local restaurant to pick up some food for lunch and had to order from the street outside of the door, make my payment with a face mask, make my payment, and then leave. It was just a bizarre thing to go through. We are going through a worldwide crisis right now, and I'm telling you, you need to listen to me. The main reason we're going through this is people out there don't have their immune systems ready to go. You need to be like me. You need to be like my family. You need to just make sure, do the right thing. That everybody in your family is a well-oiled machine that is ready to go to fight this stuff when it's, and the best way to do it is go to getthetea.com. I'm telling you, that's why we are healthy around here. Go to getthetea.com. When you go to Get the Tea, go straight to their specials page and get loaded up. I've been doing this for years now, and I feel great. I look great. Look at the camera. I'm 56 years old. No comments. All right, getthetea.com. Click on the banner over at our site. Use the promo code FADER, F-A-D-E-R, and you will get free shipping on your order over $50 right now over at getthetea.com. Also, I want you to visit Billy Carson's new internet TV network, forbiddenknowledge.tv. That's forbiddenknowledge.tv. Go check it out now. You get a 3-day trial membership. It's a 3-day trial membership. It's got 1,000 episodes loaded right now for you to go and check out and get your knowledge on. Click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Head straight over to forbiddenknowledge.tv. And as I have mentioned all month now, this is a really big deal. River Moon Coffee is now available on Amazon. They have their own Amazon store. Of course, you've got Fade to Black Blend available to you right now. And if you use the promo code JimmyRMC over on the Amazon store, you get an additional 5% off of the already discounted prices. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, an Amazon Prime Fade or not, you get free shipping. All right, head over to Amazon right now and check out River Moon Coffee. The banners are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get to all this breaking news that we've gathered just for you. A new study has found that the inner layer of our planet is discharging metal material. The Earth's molten core may be leaking iron, according to scientists at the University of California, Davis. The study concluded that a huge drop in temperature from our planet's liquid iron core to the outer rocky mantle pulls heavier iron isotopes out towards the Earth's surface, while lighter iron isotopes remain within the core. The leaky core is likely responsible for the high levels of iron deposits found in volcanic eruptions off the coast of Samoa and Hawaii. They don't know what it means yet, but they say that it is happening. All right, Kim Fatty Fat in North Korea fired several suspected cruise missiles towards the sea today. The multiple projectiles fired from the Muncheon in the east of the country were believed to be short-range cruise missiles. The test came a day before Wednesday's parliamentary elections in South Korea. Yeah, that was a Freudian slip. Tomorrow is the 108th anniversary of the birth of Kim Il-sung, founder of North Korea and grandfather of the current leader, Kim Fatty Fat Jong-un. The United States Justice Department announced today it had sent $300 million in funds stolen in the 1MDB corruption scandal to the Malaysia government that has been laundered through the global financial system. Combined with other funds handed over nearly 1 year ago, the Justice Department said it has now returned or helped Malaysia recover more than $1 billion in funds and assets lost in the scam. Now, from 2009 to 2015, I'm not making any of this up, Low Tech Joe, a.k.a. Joe Low, siphoned off the billions originally meant to fund the state investments through 1MDB. Now, Low used most of the money to buy luxurious homes, top-level art, hanging out with Paris Hilton. That's right. And invest in Hollywood movies, including the Martin Scorsese hit Wolf of Wall Street. That's right. Wolf of Wall Street was funded with stolen, laundered money by Jolo from Malaysia. Jolo himself is still on the run and is thought to be hiding out in China. There is a couple of great documentaries out there, Amazon, Netflix. You can go and find it. Just look up 1MDB, look up Jolo, and go and watch what went down. It's absolutely incredible. This dude, Jolo, man. But he really did it. And there you go. They've got $1.3 billion back out of, I think, $6 billion, something like that. Yeah, it's incredible. All right, the StarWorks UFOs and Artificial Intelligence Conference in Laughlin, Nevada, slated for November 5th through the 8th, is still on and is going to be bigger and better than before. You can go to starworksusa.com for tickets and info. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be hosting. I might even speak. I'm going to be there with Rita. I'm going to be there with our entire Fade to Black crew. So come and hang out with us in November in Laughlin, Nevada. It's going to be great, the Aquarius Hotel and Casino. Also, I spoke about this today and yesterday, but I did this today over at the Disclosure Fest live stream. The Disclosure Fest event, which is also slated for June 20th in downtown Los Angeles at the historic Los Angeles Park, right next to Chinatown. It's beautiful. Well, the city of Los Angeles and the state of California right now are saying that the event can happen. So we're going to go forward with it. We have another date in August. We may push it back if we have to. But right now, they're saying it's a go. And it looks like they're going to start lifting some of these restrictions here in California very soon, and that we might start to take the turn on coronavirus. So I'm very excited about that. Go to disclosurefest.org for all of your information and to stay on top of things. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. One of my all-time favorites, Anthony Michael Hall. Today is 52. Weird Science. The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, National Lampoon's Vacation. That's right, Anthony Michael Hall. Today, 52 years old. All right, Frank Capaldi today is 62. Of course, Doctor Who. He won an Oscar for It's a Wonderful Life. Not that It's a Wonderful Life, another. It was like Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life, another version of it. But In the Loop, I think that's what it was called. In the Loop, film from 2010, Oscar nominee, great movie. Frank Capaldi, today 62. Adrian Brody, today is 47, the pianist. He was also great in the Grand Budapest Hotel. And today, guitar god, Richie Blackmore is 75. How did we get, where did the years go? Richie Blackmore today is 75 years old. Man, on this day in history, happy birthday, Richie. On this day in history, 1865, President Abraham Lincoln is shot in the head at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. The assassin, actor John Wilkes Booth. Fader fact. Ferrari engines are musically engineered to sound perfect by utilizing third and sixth harmonics on the air intake. Bet you didn't know that. When you listen to a Ferrari, right? It's musical. It really is. Now you know why. Tonight, very special guest, Uri Geller, joins us from Israel. Tomorrow night, Randall Carlson is here. The Beard of Knowledge. Thursday night's another Fader night with open lines all night long. And let me hit this River Moon Coffee. Go to rivermooncoffee.com. Get yourself some Faded Black blend. Man, truly the best coffee in the world. Yeah, I know. Richie is 75. I mean, that just flips me out. 75 years old. Okay, here we go. Synchronicities. Over the last week, I've mentioned Frank Herbert's Dune a few times. And the universe always has a synchronicity or two waiting just for you to find, to observe, to take advantage of. So, with that, I'll ask this question for you to the universe. Is there a new Dune movie? Well, the universe says yes. Magic 8 Ball. Back in 2016, Legendary Entertainment sealed the deal with the estate of author Frank Herbert for the rights to his science fiction novel, and that, 1965. A few months later, Denis Villeneuve was confirmed as the director of the new adaptation. A Best Director nominee for Arrival, one of my favorite movies. His most recent film was 2017's Blade Runner 2049, sequel to Ridley Scott's classic. Well, Villeneuve's Dune is a remake rather than a sequel, but like Blade Runner 2049, it is following in the footsteps of a franchise. He's not the first person to try and make a Dune movie. That honor goes to director Alejandro Jodorowsky. And if you haven't seen that documentary, oh man, I'm trying to think of the name of it right now, but it's absolutely incredible. I think it's called Jodorowsky's Dune. And in that production, he had Orson Welles, he had Salvador Dali, he even had Mick Jagger. Right? Now, David Lynch ended up where Jodorowsky had failed by directing his Dune movie back in 1984, starring Kyle MacLachlan. Now, Lynch's Dune was a box office flop. It was. Today, cult status, full-on cult status. I don't know how many times Rita and I have seen Lynch's Dune. I don't know. It's got to be 50. I would think it's somewhere in there. We watch it all the time. Now, a few years later, director John Harrison took his crack at the material, and he did a 3-part miniseries on sci-fi, and it was okay. It was okay. It was low production and so forth, low budget, but it was fun to watch, and I've seen it a couple of times. This time around, Villeneuve's Dune has already managed to distinguish itself with its very own star-filled cast. We've got Oscar nominee Timothée Chalamet, who stars as Paul Atreides. In April 2020, the first photo from the film was released, and you could see Paul Atreides standing on the beaches of his home world of Caladan before the family's departure for Arrakis. It's a pretty incredible shot, and if you haven't seen it, I'll pop it up there on Twitter in just a minute. Rebecca Ferguson will play Paul's mother, Lady Jessica, who trains Paul on his way to becoming a Bene Gesserit. Oscar Isaac will play Paul's father, the noble Duke Leto Atreides, Duke Leto. On the other side of the board, you've got Stellan Skarsgård. He's going to play Baron Harkonnen. Doesn't get any better than this. Now, you also have this dimension between good and evil, because Charlotte Rampling is playing the Reverend Mother Mohiam, and she is the leader of the Bene Gesserit, and was spookily played in the original Dune, by the way. Now, let's see. Who else do we have? Javier Bardem. He is in the film. Now, with Javier, he plays Stilgar, by the way, the Fremen leader. You've got Dave Bautista in it. But check this out. Javier Bardem, right? Josh Brolin signed up last year. Josh Brolin and Javier. This is going to be an amazing movie, and this is the deal. With the cinematic values that we had in Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, and finally, David Lynch's Dune was great. All right, it was great. Box office flop. I really enjoyed the movie. This time around, we might finally have Frank Herbert's Dune correctly portrayed. I've even got more news, okay? Check this out. Warner Brothers is going to release Dune this December 18th. Not that far away. I know we're in April, but it's coming out December 18th. It's done. With all of the other Hollywood productions that got shut down all around the world, Dune was filmed in Budapest and Jordan, and all of the filming wrapped months ago. So the film is going to come out on December 18th, 2020. I am very excited about this. Now, a couple of other changes that are going to be happening. The Dr. Liet Kynes, the imperial ecologist, who had gone native and become a leader among the Fremen, and you remember that whole sequence of the movie and the book, has usually been depicted as a white guy, right? Because in the original Dune, it was Max von Sydow. That's right, in Lynch's version. But it's now going to be portrayed by actress Sharon Duncan Brewster. You remember her from Rogue One. It's going to be exciting. I am ready to go with all of this. Now, quick update. This interview with Uri Geller was taped a couple of hours ago due to timing issues between here and Israel. So we couldn't go live. We ended up taping it, which will allow me to hit play right now, and I am going to hang out with everybody in all of the chat rooms. So with that, I'm going to take my break right now. We're going to come straight back with my interview and conversation with Uri Geller that took place just 3 hours ago. Stay right there. This is Fade to Black. I'm gonna jump out and hang out in all of the chat rooms. I already know what was said. You guys better get ready. It's an amazing conversation. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
OMG! People are jumping on board to the Life Change Tea Regiment. Brew, steep, and drink for a gentle, taste-great cleanse. It's changing how they feel. See what everybody's talking about. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Life Change Tea aids in digestive slowdown and helps people get moving down a healthy path. We won't make claims. We'll just let you decide. Experience is much better than a commercial anyway. If you want results, log on to getthetea.com and purchase your super strength cleansing tea. You won't be disappointed. And if you're looking for some mind-body suggestions, go to YouTube and punch in the search bar Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. Put power into your health now. So, getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com for super strength tea. And YouTube, Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now for valuable suggestions. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
On Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Uri at The Real Uri Geller on Twitter. We've got all the links up for you. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night, the Beard of Knowledge, Randall Carlson, is here. But tonight, it's Uri Geller. And we will be discussing his life and work with governments around the world, the CIA, science and consciousness. We're going to get it all in. And at the age of 4, Uri had a mysterious encounter with the sphere of light while in a garden near his house. A retired Israeli Air Force officer who was an eyewitness to this encounter validated the mystifying event decades later. In 1969, he began to demonstrate his powers of telepathy and psychokinesis to small audiences, and by the end of 1971, he was a household name throughout Israel. Since then, Uri has negotiated peace treaties, addressed a group of U.S. senators and national security executives at the high security room in the Capitol building in Washington. He lectured to the directors and CEOs of Henkel, the Prime Minister's Conference, Novartis, Mizuno, Sony, Rolls-Royce, Hallmark, and many more. In 2017, the CIA released a large volume of previously top-secret data, including documents and memos about the tests that were performed on Uri Geller. Now, the CIA concluded that Uri demonstrated his paranormal perception ability in a convincing and unambiguous manner. I would like to welcome for the first time to Fade to Black, Uri Geller, live from Israel. Uri, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm fantastic, Jimmy. Thank you very much for inviting me onto your show. Yes, I am in Israel in a small art community called Old Jaffa. Old Jaffa is right next to Tel Aviv, and the Jaffa port is actually the oldest port in the world. It's 6,000 years old. Now, we lived out of Israel for almost 48 years. And 4 years ago, my wife, Hannah, and myself, we decided to come back to our homeland because I'm an Israeli. I was born here. And we decided to live in Old Jaffa. So this is where I am. I'm actually looking out of the window, although it's dark, but I can see Tel Aviv in the background with the high skyscrapers. But right in front of me, no further than 300 meters, is a beautiful Russian church. And I can also look at the Old Jaffa Square. Our apartment is tiny, but we love it. I believe in the energies of the land. I came back to my people, and we're very, very happy here.
One of the things, and I want to thank you for taking the time for this show tonight, but one of the things with our audience here, Uri, which you're very familiar with, but when we hear discussions of, and I've interviewed so many that have mentioned things that happened to them at a very young age, and it followed them through life. And one of those things that just gets repeated over and over again are spheres of light and encounters, and something is made aware of them at such a young age. This happened to you, and was it anything that could have been extraterrestrial? Do you think it was spiritual? You've had so many years to reflect back on it. What do you think that event actually was?
Okay, so I have my theories, but Jimmy, before we go on, I just want to make something very clear to all your audiences and your listeners, that I'm very controversial. I've been around for 50 years. We'll talk about the controversy also throughout the show. But if that Israeli Air Force officer wouldn't have come out and publicly state that he actually saw me, and he saw the sphere of light. He was walking back on Rothschild Boulevard to his mother's and father's apartment. On the right, there was a huge Arabic garden. And he saw a little boy, which was me, with a white shirt, black curly hair. And he saw me running towards my apartment building. And this sphere of light, as I entered the apartment building. We lived in an apartment on the third floor, and Yaakov Avrahami, the name of the officer, the Air Force officer, said that once I entered the doorway, this sphere of light exploded onto the facade of our apartment building and left a dark residue. Now, Jimmy, you asked me what my theories are. I would say that you basically stated them. Let's start with the most down-to-earth one, that this phenomenon of the sphere of light or the orb could be a geological phenomena. You know that planet Earth releases certain gases, certain forms of energy, and sometimes they turn into a bubble of a huge sphere of light. That's the most believable explanation. My second theory is that, yes, maybe it was a spiritual experience, almost entering the realms of quantum entanglement, quantum mechanics, where this was so real, but it wasn't there, and I just made it happen. And the third theory is definitely the most far out one, that I had an extraterrestrial encounter, full stop, period.
Right.
I'm a huge believer, Jimmy, in extraterrestrial life. I've seen UFOs many times. I haven't seen an alien, but there's no doubt in my mind that extraterrestrials exist. We're being visited. I mean, if there is no extraterrestrial life out there in the universe, then what a waste of space.
It has to be that way. It's a numbers game these days. We have found out about so many planets and exoplanets in our galaxy, where the numbers are 20 billion, 30 billion Earth-like planets out there. It's a numbers game. There has to be probably infinite life out there. The question is, are they coming here and hanging out with us? And I think we're getting closer and closer to getting those answers. But there's another part to this for me. Here in the United States, we grew up with you, and I certainly did. And the how do I say this? The rise and the exposure that you had was very, very rapid. But to go from what was, in some cases, for the world audience, entertainment, the Tonight Show and what have you, you were at that time, for all, I would like to use better words here, but leading a double life, because you were at SRI. There was Ingo Swann and Pat Price and the CIA that was involved. This wasn't necessarily a public side for you. Was that an uncomfortable thing to go through? Did you feel that you were leading a double life?
Well, this all started actually when I was 13, living in Cyprus with my mother. My stepfather died just a year after my mother got married to him. My parents divorced, and my mother took me to Cyprus, and she married a Hungarian Jew living in Nicosia. And he owned a little bed and breakfast kind of hotel with 14 rooms. When he died, the Mossad, which is the Israeli Secret Service, discovered that we're from Israel and we're running this hotel. I was cycling to school, coming back to help my mother with a little hotel. And the Mossad turned our little tiny establishment into a Mossad safe house for Israeli spies, where I met a spy called Yoav Shacham, who was astounded by my abilities of bending keys and spoons and reading his mind. I was only 13 then, and he excited me by telling me that when I get to 18, I will go back to Israel and join the paratroopers, go to officer school, and then find him. So, for a 13-year-old to hear this from an Israeli spy, that I'm going to be a Mossad agent, wow, that was unbelievable. So I was already groomed at that age, believe it or not. When I got to 18, joined the paratroopers, I fought in the Six-Day War, in which I was wounded in Jerusalem. And I went to officer school, and in the middle of the officer school, I'm shocked. I get the morning paper, and the headline screams out that Yoav Shacham, that one person that knew about my powers in Cyprus when I was 13, was shot and was killed by a bullet that penetrated his helmet. That shattered my dreams. But when I became very well known in Israel, I started circulating with people from the secret intelligence. Golda Meir, she actually launched my career, because when I met her, I told her to go to the restroom, to the toilet, shut the door, and draw a secret picture, a drawing. And I told her that when she comes out, she shouldn't show the drawing to anyone, just look into my eyes and I will read her mind. And she said, nobody can read my mind. Golda Meir, American Prime Minister of Israel, she went to the toilet. I think I'm the only person in the world that ever sent the Prime Minister to the toilet on command.
Right.
She came out and I read her mind. I drew a Star of David, and it was a Star of David. And the next day she was interviewed on Israeli radio, and they asked her to predict the future of Israel, and she said, don't ask me, ask Uri Geller. And that was it. The next day, actually the same day, my phone started ringing. Those old-fashioned black phones. Uri Geller, can you really do this on a big stage in front of hundreds of people? And that's how my career was launched. But parallel to that, I started working for Mossad. And Mossad were shocked and bewildered by the information I was bringing them. Basically, I was using remote viewing. I didn't know the word remote viewing at that time. I thought it was telepathy, extrasensory perception. But Mossad didn't have the tools to test me, to discover how the brain works while I do telepathy. So they called the CIA. And it was actually a CIA scientist called Kit Green that took the call in Langley, Virginia. And they invited me over to America, to Palo Alto, to Stanford Research Institute, where I met Hal Puthoff, the physicist, Russell Targ, Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man to walk on the moon. And they went through, they conducted on me experiments. They're all on my website. By the way, my website is urigeller.com. You would actually be fascinated by the secret SRI film. Well, it was the CIA's film, where you see me do different phenomena that the Mossad couldn't explain. Anyhow, to make a long story short, you actually read out an endorsement that I got from the CIA just recently, which is quite mind-boggling, and please allow me to repeat it again. The CIA concluded, as a result of Geller's success in this experimental period, we consider that he has demonstrated his paranormal perceptual ability in a convincing and unambiguous manner. And if you don't believe that, you can even check it on the CIA's official website. So to answer the question, to me, this was amazing. This was incredible to live a double life. From one side, I was working for secret agencies, and from the other side, I was on Merv Griffin, on Mike Douglas, on Johnny Carson, who actually launched my career, and we'll talk about it later because it was very controversial. And I was a super spy, and then I was doing show business. So it wasn't, it was hard to do the laboratory experiments because I was under laboratory controlled experiments where, you can't cheat. It's very grueling, but I had to prove myself. But after that...
go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was fascinating.
Right. I just interrupted you and apologize for that. But staying on this, because I've interviewed most of the personalities that were at SRI, and it's a very fascinating time for our country, for sure. The program was officially ended on the official side. I don't know how much you can talk about this right now, but it's my job to try to get these answers from you. Do you think that the CIA is still running this program, but under another name, and it's a black program and running in the background?
Yes, let me explain. I'd like all your listeners after the show or tomorrow to get on my website, go to TV, click on TV, and watch a documentary called The Secret Life of Uri Geller. It's a BBC production directed by an Oscar-winning director. In that program, they interview somebody called Scott. Scott was in this deep. And they asked him, why was it terminated? And his answer is fascinating. It actually has to do with religion. But let me tell you this. No, it was not terminated. No way. This is still going on. It simply went deep black. And when you have this type of research and remote viewers working for the American government, you don't need to call it names. You don't need to announce it to the New York Times or the Boston Globe or the Washington Post. This is secret stuff. It has a code name for sure, but no one knows the code name but the insiders. You've got to continue this research, and I'll explain why. Because basically it's cheap. You've got 20, 30, 40 remote viewers in darkened rooms, sitting by computers, and they send their mind through space and time, and they bring back valuable information that otherwise the conventional methods cannot collect. We have moved to amazing satellites today. 50 years ago, a satellite could not see through clouds. Today, it can. But there's certain elements that CIA, NSA need, and only the human mind can bring that information. So this research is not only going on by the CIA or NSA or FBI, but by many intelligence services around the world. MI5, MI6, Germans, Japanese, definitely Chinese, and definitely Russian.
I watched, we're going to stay right here on this subject, but I want to say this. It was a few years ago. It was a video of you standing outside of this large white home. It was very funny, and it showed a side of your personality that I think most of us hadn't seen before, that you're very funny and you're very genuine. You've got a great sense of humor, and it's a great video. But it also said to me that you were able to hide probably some of the pressures that were applied from governments and the CIA. Was there a lot of pressure on you? Did you feel that they were pushing you in a direction, and you had to lead this other life and show everybody that you were happy and life is good? But meanwhile, in the background, there was probably some pretty intense things going on, was there?
Oh, yeah, there were very intense things. But look, you must understand, Jimmy, that for decades, governments were interested in talents like telepathy, telekinesis, remote viewing, etc. NASA and CIA became extremely interested in this. And the idea was to weaponize psychic abilities. I'll never forget the day, and I will not mention not the agency and not the country, but I was taken into a white room by two scientists. In the middle of the room stood a white pig, a big one, a live pig, living pig. And the scientists looked at me, and one of them said, "Look, Uri, we're going to go out for coffee in the canteen. By the time we come back, we want to see the pig dead."
What?
And I was so utterly shocked and devastated by this request, because obviously they wanted me to stop the heart of the pig. You know, a heart of a pig is very similar to a human's heart.
Right.
And maybe the target was the head of the KGB. Only God knows. So there were certain requests that were given to me, and it was always a no, no, no. I would never do dark things. I only did positive things while I was spying in Mexico. Just 2 decades ago, Senator Clayton Pell, who was the head of the American Foreign Relations Committee, and Ambassador Max Kempelman groomed me to convince the Russians to sign the nuclear arms reduction treaty. And this is something very positive, to have less nuclear weapons, nuclear bombs.
Right.
You know that one of the tests that were conducted with me was in the Lawrence Livermore radiation labs, where they wanted to see basically if I could trigger a nuclear bomb. From there, I was taken to the American Naval Surface Weapons Centers for more experiments to see what the human mind can do. So I did positive things. So that is the answer. I was under pressure. But you know, Jimmy, there was another pressure. There was a show business pressure.
Right.
There were hundreds of TV shows that I was doing, bending spoons and forks in people's homes, stopping the Big Ben. But then there was another pressure. I was constantly attacked by skeptics. There was a guy who dogged me for, I would say, 50 years, called James Randi, who was a magician. God bless him, because today I realized this a long time ago, that he was basically promoting me free of charge, because skeptics did not understand the meaning of PR, of publicity. So whenever they tried to debunk me, they basically mentioned me, and they spelled my name correctly. And that was valuable publicity for me. So you can imagine and let me tell you the story with Johnny Carson. Do we have a few more minutes?
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes before the break.
Okay, I was asked to do the Johnny Carson show, and everybody told me, Uri Geller, if you do the Johnny Carson show, you made it in America. This is the biggest show in the United States. Millions of people will watch you. So I was, elated. I was over the moon. And I didn't realize, Jimmy, that I walked into a trap. There was some kind of an arrangement with James Randi and Johnny Carson, who was a skeptic. And you know what? I sat there on the Johnny Carson show, 22 minutes, humiliated. Yes, the spoon bent. There was an actor called Ricardo Monteblanc, and the spoon that he was holding in his hand, which I rubbed gently, bent. But that wasn't enough for Johnny Carson. He sneered and scoffed and belittled me. It was awful. And the only thought that was going through my mind is, Uri Geller, you are finished. And I knew that I'm going to go back to the hotel, pack up my belongings, and get on a plane and fly back to Tel Aviv, to Israel. So I got to the hotel. I was devastated. I was gutted, as the British say, fell on the bed and fell asleep. Very early in the morning, the phone rings. And I pick it up, and the operator downstairs was a Hilton hotel. She says to me, Mr. Geller, I have a Merv Griffin on the line for you. And I said, you mean the Merv Griffin? And she says, yeah, he says that's who he is. So she switched the phone to him, and Merv tells me, Uri Geller, I saw you last night on Johnny Carson. I want you on my show this week. That's when I realized, Jimmy, that controversy is a gift on a silver plate. And that pressure disappeared. It ebbed away. I realized that the skeptics were actually boosting my career. They were pushing me into stardom, because after that Johnny Carson show, that was it. I became internationally famous.
The pressure, this is what I'm so fascinated with, is that with all of that, and James Randi, and television, and the smiling face, nobody knew the secret life of Walter Mitty, right? That is actually going on. That in the background, we have international diplomacy and geopolitics and secret agencies all trying to take advantage of the gifts that you were given. How did you manage to deal with it? I can't imagine what you were actually going through in reality.
Yeah, well, look, let me relate to all of you an incredible story that will sound to all of you like I took it out of a bad science fiction film. But if you go to my website, urigeller.com, go to the CIA stuff and you'll find the NSA documents. When I say NSA, I mean National Security Agency. Let me tell you what happened. MI5 were testing my powers, and something to do with poltergeist happened. They relayed that to the Americans. NSA got interested. And you know what they wanted me to do? They actually believed, and this you can read directly from the NSA documents, which were also released recently. They wanted to create 10 Uri Gellers. And they basically wanted the 10 Uri Gellers to concentrate, now sit down if you're standing, to concentrate on a small Russian city and dematerialize the entire city. This is absolutely true. Please check it out because it's written on the documents of NSA released about a year and a half ago. So the Americans and the world were very interested in the powers of the mind. Look, Jimmy, before we go to a commercial break, let me just explain you that most of the people around the world believe in the paranormal. But since you're an American radio show, did you know that almost 76% of all Americans believe in at least one paranormal phenomenon? I mean, they believe in lost civilization, they believe in alien encounters, they believe in telekinesis, in fortune-telling, in Bigfoot, in haunting. I mean, I can go on and on. I know the statistics by heart. The highest one is places that can be haunted. 58% of all Americans believe in hauntings. Ancient advanced civilizations such as Atlantis, 57% believe in that. UFOs, 41%. Aliens come to Earth, 35%. Unbelievable. People believe in telekinesis, 26%. So this is major, and this is worldwide. We are believers.
The other part of that, and when we come back after the break, I want to jump into this very deeply, is the science side of it, and surely SRI was a big part of this, but today with physics and quantum physics and theoretical physics, all of this is pushing towards a collision with the consciousness community, which has their own beliefs in ghosts and the paranormal and the afterlife and spirituality and consciousness. The two are starting to collide. The science side of it is suggesting all kinds of strange phenomena, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. Look, if you're talking now about science and quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement, you can even ask the question, are you really interviewing me now? Do I really exist, or are you making me up? Or am I making you up? I mean, consciousness basically is a state of quality of awareness, or being aware of an external object or something within on self, inside us. And it has been defined for centuries, but in different manners and ways, as an awareness, a subjectivity, the ability to experience or to feel wakefulness, having a sense of selfhood and the executive control of the mind. So science is beginning to understand and learn and explore the human mind. Do you understand that the last frontier, Jimmy, is not space? The last frontier is our mind, because we can talk about infinity. Infinity means no end to outer space, but there's also no end to inner space. There are billions and billions of entities and lives inside inner space within our minds. We only use a very small percentage of our living brain, 10% maybe. We are becoming more telepathic. We have more extrasensory perception. In a few, to maybe 1,000 years from now, we'll be able to move objects. It will be a child's play. So science is beginning, not colliding. No, they're not colliding. It's not a negative. It's a positive. I think science is beginning to harmonize with the power of the human mind and understand it, explore it, and then utilize it.
Let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, live from Israel, Uri Geller. We will be right back after this short break on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planets. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Uri, the real Uri Geller. We've got all his links up right now on Twitter. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, fade or not, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, And Angioprim is the result, a safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com. Or to speak with a trained consultant. Give Angioprim a call at 954-882-7221. That's 954-882-7221.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Join the conversation. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Tonight, Uri Geller, live from Israel. And if you miss a live show like this one, it's very simple. Just go to our website, jimmychurchradio.com, and click on the podcast banner right there. Just $2 per month, and you will get over 1,200 archived shows right there like this one. And now, continuing, Uri, before I want to get into consciousness in this segment, but there's another part to this, which is agencies like the NSA and the CIA, maybe even the Mossad and what's going on over in Russia. Are they always listening? We've had a couple of little weird things that have happened with our connection tonight. Are they still following? Are they aware?
Okay, let me answer that. But before I do, let me please allow me to plug a few things.
Sure.
Again, my website is urigeller.com. That is www.urigeller.com. My Instagram is @theurigeller. Also, I urge you to watch 4 interviews that I did with Gaia TV. An amazing, fascinating man called Sid Goldberg flew over to Tel Aviv to interview me. He is a 4-time Emmy Award winner, and he created the most 4 fascinating interviews I ever had. So I urge you to go to Gaia TV and watch those. Also, my latest book is called Learn How to Douse, and that's available on Amazon. And I would like to say hi to my daughter, Natalie, who lives in Los Angeles, and to our 2 granddaughters, Romy and Leah. So that's that. Concerning listening to us, of course we're being listened. You know, NSA is the largest listening post in the entire world. Our phones are bugged. Anyone can activate the camera on the phone. You'd be shocked what our little telephone, whether it's an iPhone or whatever phone you have on you, it's actually the most sophisticated listening device in the world. It knows where you are. It knows what you want. It knows even what you're thinking. It can activate the camera. They can film you. Unbelievable. And you're very naive because most of us, we don't think that way. We carry the phone with us everywhere we go. So, yes, this conversation is no doubt being listened into. Most conversations are just being taped. This is being taped and listened to because of my background, because who I worked with, because who I know. And that's the answer. Yes, we're being listened. This is why I cover, for instance, my camera with a little tape. Also, my Apple computer, I put a little tape over the camera. Everywhere there are cameras that are on computers or in mobile phones, I cover them, both sides, so they cannot see you and they cannot see what you're looking at when you carry the phone. It's ridiculous. And if you Google and you put in Facebook's director, Zuckerberg, he also tapes his the camera on his computers. So I answered your question.
I went around one day with a roll of electric tape, black electric tape, and started taping over various cameras. And I didn't realize how many I actually had. They're on all of the TVs, your laptops, and you can walk around my studio and look and see little pieces of black tape. And I did it because I felt safer, right? Because you just don't know these days. And with video games like, say, Pokemon Go, and the development of that game was through CIA's venture capital arm, and most people don't know that. And the ability for people that are out playing Pokemon Go in public places and to be able to turn on somebody's phone in a public place and monitor what is going on, they could be following somebody. You just happen to be in the area, and they go, oh, this person is there. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on their microphone. Let's turn on their camera. Yes. And you don't know
Yes, Jimmy, since you brought up the name Pokemon, that I had a whole thing with Pokemon. They created a card called GELLER. Anyhow, we won't go into that because that's also on my website. But did you know that I was a character in Pokemon? I was even a character in Pokemon Go. In Israel, it was called URI GELLER in Hebrew. So, yes, and that's only one game. But then you've got TikTok, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think TikTok is owned by China. Am I correct, or you don't know?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, I've heard of TikTok, but I'm not young enough to go and hang out there. But yeah, it could be Chinese.
Incredible. We are very much, Big Brother is watching us all the time and listening to us all the time. But look, there is also a positive side to this, because if you, we'll talk about the coronavirus in a moment, but if you are a good intelligence agency like Mossad and MI5, MI6, NSA, CIA, FBI, etc., we are very much concerned about terrorism today. And yes, it's very tragic that terrorists kill and maim people and bomb people and so on. But what really the major intelligence services are concerned about is a dirty bomb in a suitcase, meaning they're worried that terrorists will be able to build a nuclear weapon in a suitcase. Now, just imagine, God forbid, if such a suitcase nuclear bomb explodes downtown LA or Paris or Milan or New York or London. You're talking about 200, 300,000 dead, radiation for hundreds and hundreds of meters. You won't be able to enter the place. It's just awesomely tragic. So we have to listen. And I'm not against that. Because if there was no NSA and there was no CIA, there would be a huge terrorist problem worldwide. We are capturing them. I'm talking about the extremists now.
Right.
We're capturing them. We're stopping them. I can't talk about it, but every day there is something that here in Israel we managed to stop from happening. And I will not go into how it's done, but that is very, very important. And now here is almost like a conspiracy theory. But before I go into this theory of mine, I'm amazed today, Jimmy, how I managed to instill spoon bending into world culture. There are Robert De Niro. I know I'm boasting now and I'm showing off, but Robert De Niro played me. George Clooney played me. The Matrix has spoon bending sequences.
That's right.
Incubus, the Los Angeles band is singing, mentioning my name. So I'm amazed how a rather trivial demonstration of spoon bending caught the world on fire. And I basically wanted to become, I was on an ego trip in the 70s. I wanted to become rich and famous. I wanted the Johnny Carsons. I wanted the Mike Douglas. I wanted to meet the David Bowies and John Lennons and Elton John and Mick Jaggers. They all were my friends because I was on a frenzy. I wanted to prove to the world that what I do is real. But while I was doing that, I was hurting myself because you were talking about the pressures that I was under. CIA, experiments, controversy, show business. And I actually became very ill in the late 70s. I was bulimic. I had anxiety attacks. It was awful. But I managed to cure myself. I managed to create a positive mental power, the positive mental attitude that can conquer a lot of things. And, today I always say that, you can start with nothing, and from nothing, from no way, there is a way, and you will find a way. When teenagers, I get 300 emails a day. I get hundreds of WhatsApps a day. And teenagers from around the world, when they watch me on TV or they see my documentaries, they all want to know how to bend the spoon. They want me to teach them how to bend the spoon. And I write back exactly the opposite. I say, hey guys, forget spoon bending. Instead, become a positive thinker, believe in yourself, focus on school. I can tell them that if you can go there with your mind, you can go there with your body. Whatever you can visualize, you can materialize. There is nothing that you cannot be, do, or have, because you are all the architects of your own lives. So this is today's my message. I ebbed away a long time ago from the spoon bending phenomenon.
The power of the mind and consciousness is extraordinary. And not only physically how you can mend yourself, but you can change your own reality and focus on something. The power of the mind is something that physics and science is just now struggling to understand. The transition, and this is what I find interesting. You have proven and have done a lot of things with big companies and to help them, also with the ground. And you mentioned the ground earlier, geography and locations. We know that the Earth has these powers. But what is the difference between rocks and dirt, which is made from the same particles that your body is and your brain? It's the same atoms, but yet you and I are able to engage in a conversation, right? What's the difference? What's the difference between a rock or a watch or a spoon and us? What's the transition? Where does consciousness come from?
Jimmy, this is a brilliant question, and this proves to me that besides your amazing radio voice, you're a great interviewer because you ask very unusual and eccentric amazing questions. No one ever asked me this question that you just asked me, but I would start by explaining this, that listen to these words. Part of the illusion that we're living in, Jimmy, is that we think everything is solid. Well, everything you observe with your physical senses is not solid. It's vibrational. The rock that you're talking about in our minds, they are vibrational. We are all vibrational beings. We are all, there is a frequency that everything has frequency. You know that Albert Einstein, he was, of course, one of the most brilliant scientists in the world. And I'm going to tell you a quote. One of his quotes is quite fascinating, and I'll explain why this is connected to your question. Albert Einstein said, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. He, to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. What's the connection? Very simple, that in 1924, Albert Einstein came up with an amazing equation. E equals mc square. What does E equals mc square mean? It means mass and light and everything we perceive equals energy. This is why I'm a huge believer in the afterlife. Because, Jimmy, Albert Einstein continued to prove scientifically that energy cannot be destroyed. Energy lives forever. So one must ask the question, okay, if energy cannot be destroyed and we are all made from energy and the rock is also made from energy, then what happens when we die? If energy cannot be destroyed, what happens to our soul? What happens to our body? What happens to our mind? What happens to us? And that's why I'm a huge believer in the afterlife. Now, if you take that piece of rock that you're talking about and see the connection, you remember about 40 minutes ago, I was talking about inner space, that if you take that piece of rock and you start traveling into inner space, it'll be living its life. It's amazing. It's very difficult, obviously, for me to explain because I'm no scientist, but I can tell you my feelings and my theories. And now we come into a time where we are being so sophistically computerized. Do you realize, Jimmy, that the human brain will be connected to the internet very soon? There will be nanorobots that will be implanted into the human body and connect to a network in real time. Now, this technology already is available. And I believe that secret agencies like NSA, KGB, MI5, etc., are all already using it. You know, that 45, 48 years ago when they were testing me in Stanford Research Institute, already then there were computers in the basement of Stanford that were doing and creating artificial intelligence. And in one of the corridors, I saw an aquarium, and inside the aquarium was a potato. And in the potato, there was an electrode. And I asked Hal Puthoff, what is that electrode doing in the potato? And he said, well, potatoes are living. They think. They emit energy. There are famous books like The Secret Life of Plants. You can talk to flowers. You can talk to trees. You can pat a flower and tell the flower you love it, and another flower you ignore. That flower will die much faster than the one you will talk to. The power of prayer. If you take two groups of people, and you know this, Jimmy, sick people, One group will be prayed for. The other group will not be prayed for. The group that is prayed for will heal faster. This is amazing. We're entering the fields of quantum physics, quantum entanglement. Now, the coronavirus, this is so far out what I'm about to tell you. But if, Jimmy, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for what I'm about to say. Will you allow me to say this?
Sure. I want to hear it.
Okay. Now, if you look at the coronavirus, you will find lots of antenna on the sphere. Could it be that the virus was developed in a programmable way and thus always stays in contact with the manufacturer as a mini chip? It can be commanded via quantum entanglement. This would be quite possible, Jimmy. Now, these guys behind this are genius, and they feel basically superior to the rest of the world. I don't want to mention the country, and which is, I believe that what I'm saying is true. Now, if the virus was unintentionally put into circulation, it can still be used for what it was designed for, taking the opportunity, and that is first economic and then political global power. Look at President Trump. Look what he's talking about every day, to bring back the nation, because he is concerned that there will be a meltdown. And then the people behind the virus also prove their superiority of their own system. Our economy may collapse, and then who is going to be the savior? They're already here. And I'm saying the name of the savior, and you can all read my mind, because it's not necessary telepathy, but it's logical and rational. What do you think about that, Jimmy?
I see. This is why I can agree with you very easily, because physics and going back to Einstein and spooky action at a distance and what entanglement actually means. They want us to understand what entanglement is, and certainly with quantum computing and qubits, parallel worlds, and all of this, if they want us to understand that this is where science is going, then everything else that we can suggest what entanglement is and could be used for is part of our reality. Science wants us to understand and believe it. The consciousness community and people like yourself have been talking about this for thousands of years, and the two now are meeting in the middle. Entanglement is a reality for us, and there are people without morals and dark intentions that sit around tables and try to figure out how to take advantage of this for their own selfish means. And this is reality, isn't it?
Yes. Instead of thinking this way, that whatever our minds can conceive, our minds can achieve, we should be doing positive things with mind power. But, to relax everyone who's listening, there's so many, again, conspiracy theories and predictions that the hospitals in New York will shortly be completely overrun and mass death will follow, and the entire city of New York is probably less than 30 days away from cascading, collapsing hospitals, followed by widespread chaos and mass death. And then it'll go all over Seattle, and the system will also collapse, followed by San Francisco, and that is so hard to believe, but it cannot be ruled out, because we are facing something unknown. And the people who think that this is going to be over in a month or two or even 3, I think are wrong. Again, I'm not a prophet, and I'm not a guru, and I'm not a miracle worker, but the enormity of this virus, it'll take at least a year until comes a vaccine. Once we find the vaccine that will kill this virus, then we're home free. And I think you'll agree with that.
Yeah, and it's pretty shocking to me to have, for all of us, not just myself, but to see the entire world, every country, everybody on this planet is aware and is emotionally affected and in most cases emotionally drained because they have had the onslaught from the media and their public leaders, the state actors around the world, talking about this 24 hours a day. And consciousness and emotions are affected worldwide, and that shows how everybody is connected because it happened very, very quickly.
Yes, Jimmy, you see, we are all connected to each other with an invisible spiritual thread through which we can transmit the power of love, emotions, sometimes the power of healing. We're all connected. And yes, you're right. You missed the word depressed.
Right.
People wake up in the morning and there is a depression. You can actually feel it in the air, Jimmy. You can cut it with a knife, like you cut it through a knife cuts butter. It's dense. It's out there because the media is constantly bombarding us with negative news non-stop. Negative news non-stop. And you know what's interesting is that because I know this from my television shows and I know this from the thousands of articles that were written about me and the radio shows that I did and television shows, the span of attention of the human mind is very short.
That's right.
It's almost next to nil. You know, Jimmy, no matter how good this interview is with me and you tonight, and no matter how I impressed people or angered people, or some people said he's talking rubbish, this show will be forgotten in a couple of weeks, simply because we are bombarded by information every second, and it erases the memory cells that we have. It's really unbelievable. I mean, I sometimes walk.
Let me jump in. I've got to take a break right here, Uri, but we're going to pick up where we are leaving off. Don't go anywhere. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, live from Israel. Uri Geller on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fadernauts, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Uri Geller, live from Israel. Tomorrow night, the Beard of Knowledge is back, Randall Carlson. Thursday night's another Fader night with open lines all night long. Now, I want to get right back to where we were, Uri, which I haven't been talking about coronavirus on this program for a couple of weeks because I don't want to be a part of the fear and the depression that is enveloping the planet. But what I have seen is people relaxing, finding kindness, respecting others, where it seems that borders between countries have been removed for the first time in history. And I'm hoping that when this is all over, that we are not going to forget what we have realized, that, you know, wars are stupid and so forth. But I have also noticed an absence of bad news about, it could be politics, it could be a crime in the streets, things like that, where that part of our society seems to have gone away. I don't know if it's not being reported in the news or that bad people are just staying at home and maybe changing their ways. Will we, this time around, have a paradigm shift where we won't go back to the way we were before in a couple of weeks after this crisis has ended? Do you think that we have seen the fork in the road, that we will make the changes that we need to do?
Okay, I will answer that. But before that, to all of you listening, you can follow me on Instagram. It's the Uri Geller. My website is urigeller.com. And my new book is called Learn to Douse, which is available on Amazon. I want to answer that. Yes, we are very close to a paradigm shift, but I want to inject something here that maybe you covered already in your other radio shows. You know that when I was around 40, I started noticing something really bizarre, and I think many of your listeners now will identify with me. My eyes were attracted to 11:11. And what I mean by that is I was standing in the kitchen, something made me turn around, I looked at the clock, and it was 11:11. I checked into hotel rooms 11:11, in my cars, on my computers. I was amazed by this phenomenon. And I wrote about it on my website, a whole article, and lo and behold, I started getting emails from all over the world from people who were claiming the same phenomenon. Oh, Mr. Geller, you won't believe this, but I'm attracted to 11:11. I don't understand what's happening. What is it? And I started researching it. And to my amazement, I discovered, for instance, this is interesting, John Kennedy, 11 letters. Bill Clinton, 11 letters. Jimmy Carter, 11 letters. Barack Obama, 11 letters. Donald Trump, 11 letters. George W. Bush, 11 letters. Jesus Christ, 11 letters. Adolf Hitler, 11 letters. And guess what? Coronavirus, 11 letters. And guess what? Jimmy Church, 11 letters.
My daughter, who I have two daughters who do not follow what I do. You know, they live their own lives. They're in their 20s. Yes. And I've let them do their own thing. I don't want to push, UFOs and conspiracies and enlightenment and spirituality on them. Let them do their own things. But our one of our daughters, Deanna, is 2 years ago. She comes into our bedroom late at night. She comes home from college, and she goes, every time I look at my phone, it's 11:11, right?
Amazing.
And she says, I see it all the time now. I can't. What's going on? Now, this is from somebody, Uri, that is not from our world, right?
Yes.
And she recognized it.
Yeah, this is incredible. And I don't know if you covered it on one of your radio shows, but what my feeling is that this can, presently be perceived as a crack between two worlds. You talked about paradigm shift. It is like a bridge which has the inherent potential of linking together two very different spirals of energy. As we unite together as one, bringing together our fragments of the key, we not only, Jimmy, create the key, but we make visible the doorway. And I think the doorway is a paradigm shift. Thus, this bridge functions as an invisible door or a doorway into the invisible realm. And the 11:11 is the bridge to an entirely different spiral of evolution. You know that the symbol of 11:11 was, in my opinion, pre-encoded into our cellular memory banks long ago. You mentioned thousands of years. Paranormal stuff has occurred thousands of years ago. Returning our cycle of incarnations upon the earth, the 11:11 has rested dormantly within us since that far away position under time released. And you must understand that this could be extraterrestrial in nature. Maybe UFOs crashed on planet Earth 1 million years ago. Maybe we are ourselves a star children. Maybe, because I don't quite buy into the Darwinism theory that we crawled out of the muck as amphibians and then monkeys, and then we became humans. So 11:11 is a very, very, very powerful sign. And if you study it, again on my website, there's an amazing article that I wrote about it. So I urge you to read it because this will open up your mind, and it will. And I can guarantee to you that those of you who are listening to us tonight, if you haven't experienced the 11/11 phenomenon, you will start experiencing from today.
Okay, I wanted to do something really quick. We need to continue with where we are. But if I drew something like you did with Golda Meir, if I drew something, are we vibing right now through our connection between Los Angeles and Israel? Do you think, I'm not putting you on the spot, I'm just suggesting.
No. Let me suggest something else, because I don't want to fail. Are you
I don't
going
want you
to have another Jimmy?
Yes.
Are we going to have another commercial break and then come back, or we don't have any more?
No, we're going to do one more commercial break and come back.
Okay, so this is what I want to do, an experiment with all your listeners.
Okay.
So listen to me carefully, all of you out there. During the commercial break, I want you to go and fetch your broken watches. They can be very old pocket watches that are over 80, 90, 100 years old. Bring wristwatches that belong to your parents, to your grandparents that are not working. Bring anything that is broken to the radio set. And when we come back from the next commercial break, I am going to fix those broken timepieces. Actually, also bring a spoon. We have nothing to lose. Maybe the spoon will bend. Maybe it will leap off the radio set. So we are going to conduct an experiment after the commercial break, and I guarantee you, you will be amazed. My question to you, Jimmy, is there any way your listeners can contact you and report in what has happened in their own homes?
Absolutely. And we do thousands of tweets live during the show. We have chat rooms that are open, and everything is live in real time. So I ask everybody to go ahead and take the time to, in real time, post what may be happening locally for you on Twitter and across all of the chat rooms, and of course Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube as well. Very interesting. Okay, and I do have a spoon in the studio.
Okay, there is a sequence of the experiment which I have to run through with your audience, and after that, you can report what happened. Don't write anything as of yet. Let's wait for the commercial break. You bring your stuff, you can also bring broken iPad. If you're driving cars and you have a component broken in the car, don't take your eyes off the road, but I will teach you how to focus, and I will run you through the experiment, which will take a minute and a half, even less, and then you will be able to report what really happened to you. So, Jimmy, how many minutes do we have until we take the commercial break?
We have about 14, actually. And before we get there, I wanted to go back to the amnesia question, which is where we were right in the middle of before I sidetracked us. Do you think that we will continue on the path of wellness and wholeness as a planet after this current crisis is over?
Well, Jimmy, I'm concerned not only about the virus, but I'm concerned about mega catastrophes that can occur to planet Earth that still today are not under our control. Instead of investing thousands of billions of dollars in the arm race, we should be investing into rockets that can blast out meteorites that are coming towards Earth. Because if a meteorite hits us, that's it, forget it. It can even spin our Earth out of control. It could be such an explosion that will devastate half of humanity. So, it's very unlikely that this will happen in the coming 100 years or 1,000 years or 10,000 years, but there are no guarantees. It could happen. My next concern is global warming.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, as we speak right now, the ice caps are melting. Tens of thousands of tons of icebergs, of ice, are falling into the oceans. You know those science fiction movies that you see New York underwater and Los Angeles wiped out and tsunamis rolling into cities? That is a very true reality, unfortunately, because there is climate warming. There is global warming, and we are doing very little about it. This coronavirus, what it did do, it reduced, not a lot, but it definitely reduced the worldwide pollution.
It did.
Because there are no millions of cars on the road. There are less fuel being burned to pollute our clean air. So I think to answer your question, beside the virus, there are other things we will have to start investing into to have the right mechanisms, the right vehicles, the right sophisticated methods to combat what is about to happen to our planet if we want other generations to live and on and on and on. I'm not concerned about my granddaughters or their granddaughters, but I'm definitely concerned about hundreds of years from now. I would also invest in space travel to be able to seed other planets, because all you have to do is go to YouTube and put in what is going to happen to planet Earth in the coming millions of years. You're going to be shocked by the videos that are on how our planet is slowly burning away. So we've got to find and seed other planets to continue the human race. I think you'll agree with me, Jimmy.
I do, and with one of the side effects, of course, with this current coronavirus crisis is the shutdown of all of the driving and the transportation and the factories. That the pollution, we have blue skies for the first time, right? And here in Los Angeles, I can actually breathe the air. And it's the same thing for India and China and Russia and Europe. But we have seen that we can very quickly cause a change, and it's actually easier than we thought it would be. And hopefully we'll learn a lesson from this. I think that Mother Earth, Gaia, will benefit from this very quickly. It only takes a little bit to turn things. It only takes a little bit to make it go bad as well, right? There's a tipping point there. Maybe we're on the other side of that tipping point, and the scientists can collect the data and figure out what we need to do to turn global warming around. And that's what I think is possibly going on here.
Well, yes, but it's not that easy because, okay, I accept your words and you're very positive and you're motivated to think this way to help our planet. But then all you have to do is go to the hospitals that are dealing now with coronavirus patients, with the doctors that don't have enough masks. Can you believe it that our nations, we weren't prepared for something like this? And we all know what Bill Gates said 5 years ago. Was it on a TED lecture? He said that the nuclear bombs and the nuclear missiles are not the real enemy. The real enemy is a virus. Mm-hmm. And he was proven right. So we've got to be prepared for everything. and that costs money, thousands of billions. But I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to change in a positive manner and be ready for another outbreak, which could happen very easily. And the paradigm shift, I think, yes, after we are over with this virus and after we conquer it with a vaccine, then we will be able to breathe, and then we'll be able to show the world, look, during this pandemic, look at the clear skies. Look how you, Jimmy Church, you breathe easier and better fresh air in downtown Los Angeles, where it's quite polluted most of the times, like in China and India. So hopefully, God willing, and I'm mentioning God's name here because I'm a religious man. I believe in God. I believe in a higher force, a higher creator. God willing, this will happen. And when we come back from the commercial break and after the experiment, I hope you let me speak about the Ark of the Covenant and my museum, because like you said, thousands of years ago, there were people with powers on planet Earth. I mean, people like Moses and Jesus Christ and Muhammad, they all had certain abilities. They were skilled and talented in the power of the mind. And somewhere it tarnished and ebbed away in humanity. So let's go to the commercial break soon.
Well,
and then hopefully...
Yeah, before we do, I want to stop right there for a second. You're not a prophet. You're not a future fortune teller or any of that. And we understand that. But many thousands of personalities over the years have claimed to know the future and have warned us about this and that. But the one time where a worldwide global pandemic, scary situation actually happened, nobody predicted it, right? Nobody, not one out there. The one blip of the radar, right, Uri, that everybody should have seen coming was this, and nobody called it. Why is that?
Very, very good question. Look, I respect people who claim that they can predict the future, but then you've got a lot of charlatans out there who, you go down, you can't do it today because the streets in New York are empty, but every corner has a mind reader and a fortune teller who gazes into the crystal ball. It's hard for me to believe that they're real. But then, among those people who claim powers and supernatural abilities, I'm sure there are real ones. Now, why was this missed out? You know what? I did not study Nostradamus, but I do read the papers who come out with predictions. And there actually, if I'm not mistaken, there was a book or two that did predict this virus. I can't remember who wrote it. I think Sylvia Brown, who was a psychic. I read that she actually predicted the year 2020. But, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I can't answer that, Jimmy. I don't know how this major pandemic was missed out. How come, if you claim that you have supernatural powers and you can predict the future, why did you not predict this? And I'm with you on that. I'm mystified.
I would have thought that something, there are, random number generators. There is the bots that run on the net and can see things globally change, but that's in real time. But we know that we can see blips on the radar, right? We can see the rise and fall of certain situations. This one was a big one. And this should have stirred the pot for those in the past to see something happening at this time like this. And quite frankly, and I keep my eye on it just like you, I didn't see or hear this coming, and nobody's speaking about it. And I'm talking, last year, right? Last summer.
Yeah.
Yep. Nobody mentioned it.
I agree with you. Let me just remind our listeners again, broken watches that are old.
Right.
30, 40, 50-year-old wristwatches that stopped working, stopped ticking, pocket watches that belong to heirlooms, family, grandparents, grandparents, broken timepieces, clocks, alarm clocks that have not worked for tens of years, decades. Bring a spoon, bring other items that are broken. And when we come back from the commercial break, Jimmy, you will give me about 1.5 to 2 minutes.
Right.
And I will run you through an experiment, and we'll see what will happen.
Now, I'm a big watch collector. Okay, that's one of my passions. I have too many to mention on the air. I'm not going to do that. And they all work except for one, and it's one of my favorite watches, and I'll show it to everybody on the camera a little bit later after the break.
By any chance, is it a Hamilton?
No.
Or what's the name of the watch?
It is a Sterling Bridge. It's an automatic watch, and it's clear on the front and the back. And it's one of my favorites. It's a beautiful watch, and it just stopped working. And I never took it in to get repaired. And out of the enormous watch collection that I have, one of my favorite watches does not work. So there you go. It's a Sterling Bridge. Yes. Let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back after this short break. Uri Geller live. Everybody, get your watches. I also have a spoon here in the studio as well. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to GetTheT.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheT.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger-looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, live from Israel, Uri Geller. Now, right before the break, we ask everybody to get your broken watches and get those in front of you. And I have a broken watch with me, and as well as a spoon. And Uri asked for a couple of minutes after the break to set this up, and I'm going to hand it off to you, Uri.
Okay, so the stage is mine now.
Yes.
Okay, everybody at home, you now have broken watches and broken pocket watches and clocks and so forth. Please, although they're broken, please wind them up. If they have a winder, wind them up, although they're broken. Once you wound them up, I want you to hold these broken timepieces in your hands. And if you have a spoon, if you did bring a spoon or a set of keys, just place them by the radio. Also, don't be alarmed if something really bizarre happens, like the spoon leaps off the radio or sails through the air and so on. It's a fun experiment. It's your mind power. I'm only the catalyst. I'm only an enabler. I'm the trigger to the power of your own mind. Now, it will also be very lighthearted because I'm going to ask you now, when I say 1, 2, 3, I want you all to shout out the word work. And truly believe that when you say work, you can activate your broken timepieces. We're going to shout it out 3 times. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, work, and then we're going to say it again and again. So get ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, work. Jimmy, I want to hear you too. One more time. 1, 2, 3, work. And one last time. 1, 2, 3, work. Now, everybody at home, open your hands and look at the faces of your watches or clocks. If you have a second hand, did it start moving? Is the watch ticking? If you don't have a second hand, put the watch or the pocket watch to your ears and listen. Can you hear it ticking? If the spoon moved or if something bent or something else happened in your home during this experiment, don't be alarmed, but do let us know. Now, to those of you who nothing happened, don't be disappointed because this doesn't happen to everyone. It doesn't happen and it doesn't happen all the time. But if your watch started ticking, if something strange happened, if your broken iPad or your whatever broken that piece that you started ticking or working now, let Jimmy Church know right now. So, Jimmy, give out your Twitter, whatever you do to get response.
At J Church Radio. At J Church Radio, hashtag F2B. I do want to hear from everybody. And what's amazing about this program, Uri, is we do 2,000-3,000 tweets a night in real time on this program. So it's going to be interesting to get everybody's feedback with this.
Yeah. And Jimmy, let me just say just tweet only if something happened to you. Don't let us know if nothing happened, because that will take time to sift through. So if a phenomenon occurred to you, let us know.
Thank you so much for that. And I've been waiting to do this live on the air for quite a while. Before we have to say goodnight, you wanted to mention something about the Ark of the Covenant.
Yes.
What's going on?
Okay. Do you remember that in the beginning of the program, I told you and your listeners that after 48 years, we decided to come back to our homeland, and we live in Old Jaffa, which is very close to Tel Aviv, with a 6,000-year-old port, the oldest in the world. And I found an amazing structure, a building that is 1,000 years old, and I'm turning it into the Uri Geller Museum. I have very unusual things. You can see the museum on my website. It's not open yet, but for instance, I have a Cadillac, Jimmy, that has a 1976 Fleetwood Brougham that I bought in New York to show off that I made it, and I riveted 2,600 spoons to its body, spoons that belong to Muhammad Ali, Elton John, John Lennon, President Kennedy, Trump. I mean, you name it. There are 2,600 famous spoons riveted to the body of this Cadillac. I also have things from David Bowie, John Lennon, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Albert Einstein, Sigmund Freud. It's going to be an amazing museum. While we were refurbishing the museum, I felt that there is something under the ground. So I called the antiquity department to get permission to dig it out. And they gave me the okay, the thumbs up. And what we discovered is a 1,000-year-old olive oil soap factory. Unbelievable. And so we exposed this incredible find. It runs all through the museum. And the archaeologists were astounded. They were shocked. And one of them actually asked me, because he was so impressed with my dowsing abilities, this is why I have rewritten my new book, which is called Learn How to Douse, which is available on Amazon. I was asked for next summer to go out and look for the Ark of the Covenant. I believe I know where it is. And to those of you who are not aware of what the Ark of the Covenant means, it's basically, I mean, it's, ever since Babylonian captivity of Jerusalem in the 6th century BCE, the whereabouts of this Ark, the Ark of the Covenant, has been a mystery. And as described in the Old Testament of the Bible, the Ark served as a visible sign of God's presence to the Israelites. And, the Ark had a gold rim and 4 golden rings, one on each side. And it is said that it had possessed supernatural powers. And the rumor is, or the scripture says that it could shoot a beam out of the wings of the Ark of the Covenant, and it would melt stones like butter. I have a feeling, Jimmy, that I will find the Ark of the Covenant.
Do you think it's in Israel?
I will not reveal where it is, but it's definitely in a very, very close vicinity to Israel or in Israel. Now, I don't believe that the Ten Commandments are in it. I think the Ark of the Covenant is empty, and I will find it. And that will be, archaeologically and historically, it will blow the minds of people, because a lot of scientists and archaeologists don't really believe that the Ark existed. The history of the Ten Commandments and Moses coming down from Mount Sinai is a great story. I believe in it, but there are those who don't.
The many documentaries and search for the Ark over the years, it's countless. The rumors of it being in Ethiopia, at that specific church there under guard for quite a long time. It's there, but when I see that church, I often wonder, why can't anybody just walk in and see what is inside? That puzzles me. But the other part is the other part of this is its description in the Bible is so specific that I believe that it was a real object. I cannot believe that it has been missing since 600 BC from Israel. That's the part that puzzles me the greatest.
Yes, and I agree with you, and I don't believe it's in Ethiopia either. I just know where it is, and it's not far away from actually where I'm sitting now, meaning with the flight of the bird, we're talking about a radius of... okay, let's not go into it. Now, there's another very interesting thing that I want to bring up is that I'm the owner of a very small island in Scotland. It's called Lamb Island. It's a mysterious and enigmatic island, claimed to be one of the great pyramids of Scotland. This is really an incredible story. Lamb Island is actually a volcanic outcrop in the Firth and Forth north of Edinburgh. It is one of the three rocky outcrops which mirror, believe it or not, the layout of the pyramids at Giza near Cairo in Egypt. And I've always been fascinated by the connection between the pyramids in Egypt and these islands. And you know, the connection has been known for centuries, Jimmy. You can read about it in a 15th century manuscript called the Scotisticon by an abbot, a Scottish abbot called Walter Bower. So when I heard that Lamb Island was up for sale, I kind of felt a very strong instinctive urge to buy it. And the more I delved into the history of the archaeological lore which surrounds Lamb Island, I became more certain that this is one of the most significant sites in Britain. It's really an incredible story, an incredible island, and most people don't know, but you all remember the book Treasure Island that was written by Stevenson. Well, believe it or not, Stevenson lived on the shores of North Berwick, and he looked at my island probably from his kitchen window. And this island, Jimmy, has links not only to the pyramids, but to King Arthur, King Robert the Bruce, and to the ancient kings of Ireland too. It might seem forbidding, and it is certainly uninhabitable, but it is also one of the keystones to British mythology, and I'm basically just thrilled to be its owner.
Well, what do you think is going on there, and the connection back to Egypt? Are you suggesting, or do you think or theorize that the Egyptians made it out of the Mediterranean through Gibraltar and up to Egypt to this island, and at some point made it significant?
Well, you see, Jimmy, most archaeologists and historians and scientists would laugh at this notion that the Egyptians managed to sail to Northern Europe.
Right.
But I believe they did. And Scotland is actually named after Queen Scotta, who was a wife of one of the pharaohs. She managed to sail with her soldiers to Northern Europe, to Scotland, and she actually moored outside my island, Lamb Island, and it's very difficult to climb on the island, but there's no doubt in my mind that she or her soldiers buried Egyptian treasure, whether it's emeralds or rubies or gold. There is no doubt in my mind that there is ancient Egyptian treasure buried on Lamb Island. I doused for it. I only stayed on my island for 1 day and 1 night. It's very difficult to walk on it because for thousands of years, very strong, powerful winds brought seeds from all around the world, and there's very strange vegetation growing on the surface of the island. It's almost like walking on the moon, very difficult. But I was dousing, and I felt that there is something under the ground. Also, Lamb Island is a hotspot for UFOs. Unbelievable. This is all true. And someday, when I get the permission from the Scottish Heritage Department, I will find that treasure too.
What is the connection? What did the ancients know when we look at different sites around the world? Certainly Giza is something that is well researched, and I do that all the time, and Stonehenge is right there, and Easter Island, these different locations around the world. Now we have Göbekli Tepe, which is on the border with modern day Turkey and Syria. 10,000 years old, maybe even older, right at the edge of the last ice age, which suggests, a structure like that being built, there's a spiritual, it was built for a reason. We don't know, but it tells us that there are sites like this still to be discovered around the world at very specific points on this earth. What did the ancients know? Yeah, what did the ancients know so long ago?
Absolutely. Also, on Mount Ararat in Turkey lies the Ark of Noah. And I've seen some satellite photos that astounded me that it's there. But look, it goes back, in my opinion, to ley lines. From my island, my tiny Lamb Island, there's a ley line that goes straight into Roslin Chapel. Brown's book, the Da Vinci Code.
Right.
That ley line continues through Europe into Jerusalem. From Jerusalem, it goes towards the pyramids and under the pyramids. What did the ancient civilization know? Well, they probably derived and extracted this intelligence from higher intelligence forces like extraterrestrials. Maybe they were extraterrestrials. You know that when I was spying in Mexico for the CIA wanted me to become very close to President of Mexico, who was at that time Lopez Portillo. And I actually found oil for Pemex. Pemex is the national oil company of Mexico. And President Lopez Portillo was so impressed that he actually made me a Mexican citizen. I have a Mexican passport. And one day I was taken with his wife. His wife took me to one of the pyramids. And this I relay in the Gaia interviews that Sid directed. I think you'll find it extraordinarily fascinating, Gaia TV. Inside that pyramid, there is a slab, and on it, there is, you can Google that picture of the slab. There's an astronaut. You can actually see the astronaut guiding and, maneuvering inside the cockpit of a probably UFO or some kind of an extraterrestrial vehicle. But I also got a gift from the president. And maybe we'll talk about it another time when I do your show again. I got a crystal skull, rock crystal skull. I'm looking at it now. It's going to be in my museum. It's on one of my mantel cases, and it's extraordinary because it has an elongated brain. It's almost an alien's skull, and it was carved over 3,500 years ago, and they found it in that pyramid, and I got it as a gift. I'm going to photograph it for you and send it to you. Okay, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think Sid sent me a picture of that. Right? Sid,
yes.
You let Sid, and it's an extraordinary, we have a pretty big skull collection, and I appreciate the aesthetics. I am constantly aware of the power of crystal skulls. And when Sid sent me that picture, I was immediately, well, I'll say it, I was jealous because it's a beautiful, beautiful skull, and skulls have energy. They do, and that one is 3,500 years old. There's some energy there, Uri, no doubt.
Yeah, but a lot of people say, "Oh, come on, the power of crystal," and some people say crystals have energies that heal. Well, let me tell you this, which probably most of your listeners don't know. But did you know that there is an actual crystal sphere? I call it an orb, in the center, in the core of our planet. And it's spinning, it's rotating. This is actual science. A crystal sphere at the Earth's core power its magnetic field. Did you know this, Jimmy?
No, I did not know that.
And this is science. And this is not mumbo jumbo. If you Google, what's in the core of our planet? Is there a sphere in the core? Is there a rock crystal sphere? Is there crystal in the core of our planet? You will be shocked to discover that there is. So yes, I agree with you. Crystals emanate an energy. Our computers have a crystal chip in them. Our quartz watches have a crystal chip. That's why it's called the quartz.
Mm-hmm.
And even NASA, you probably don't know this either, and I know this from Edgar Mitchell because he was a great friend of mine. When the astronauts were sent to space, they had on an aluminum plate chips that resonated with the megahertz of our planet to basically keep them at the right vibrational frequency. This is quite amazing. By the way, one of the scientists that tested my powers was no other than Wernher von Braun, who was actually a Nazi. He was a father of the rocket age. And he was so clever that NASA brought him over and he tested my powers. And I have pictures with him. It was Edgar Mitchell that took me to NASA because Wernher von Braun didn't believe in my powers. And when I stood in front of him, he looked into my eyes. I was actually shaking because I'm Jewish.
Right.
And I realized who I was facing. I was facing a Nazi. The Nazis murdered 6 million Jews and Christians and gypsies and gays. And here I was standing in front of this man who NASA kind of respected. And he suddenly says to me, Uri Geller, here is my wedding ring. You can see it on my finger. I'm going to take it off now, but I won't let you touch it. I'm going to keep it in the palm of my hand. I'm going to close my hand over my own wedding ring. If you will bend, and if you can bend my wedding ring in the palm of my hand, I will believe in your powers. And Shippy, who is my brother-in-law, was inside the same room. And we had a Minex camera that was given to me, I think, by the CIA. A Minex camera is a German spy camera. And he was snapping pictures. And I put my hand over Werner von Braun's, Dr. Werner von Braun's clasped hand for maybe 20 seconds. And suddenly Werner von Braun said, I can feel something moving. He opened his hand, and lo and behold, his wedding ring totally bent out of shape into an ellipse shape. He couldn't put it back on his finger. And he actually gave me a quote. He said, you can use it. And the quote is on my website, something like, Uri Geller bent my wedding ring in the palm of my hand. I believe that he has power, something of that nature. So I was tested by hundreds of scientists and astronauts and professors and doctors. Some of them were scientists that worked for the President of the United States. So what you read out before by the CIA, that they endorse my powers, I urge you all to check out my website, urigeller.com. Scroll down to TV. Look at The Secret Life of Uri Geller. There's a documentary directed by Simon Cowell called Uri Geller, A Life Stranger Than Fiction. You can email me. You'll find my email address on my website. There are so many videos. Everything is free, by the way, on my website. And I try to email everyone back. It's not easy because I get a great volume of emails. But I would like to end this program by saying that I love you all. I send you positive energy. I send you lots of kisses from old Jaffa. Please stay positive and optimistic and hopeful. And remember this, if you can go there with your mind, you can go there with your body. Whatever you can visualize, you can materialize, because you're the architects of your own lives. And thank you very much, Jimmy, for this incredible interview. I feel that we became friends over the airwaves.
Thank you so much, Uri. It was an amazing conversation. I look forward to our next time together. And certainly, I want to remind everybody, all of Uri's links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. And I put up a specific link right there for his books, too, as well. Uri, be safe, be well. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you on as our guest again. Thank you.
God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Uri Geller. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll come back and open up the phone lines on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us. I'll be right back.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at jimmychurchradio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black,
You create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I'm a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
And all right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Thank you to Uri Geller. What a great conversation, and hope everybody enjoyed it. Now, this is the deal. We taped that about 3 hours ago, and as soon as we finished, we prepped, and then we went straight with Fade to Black Live tonight. But it enabled me to, for the first time, to head over to YouTube and spend some time on Facebook and Twitter as well tonight, hanging out with all of you. It was great fun. The YouTube crowd, much the same as, a little different than the normal Sandbox crowd, but a lot of fun and different faces for me, hanging out with everybody for the first time. What a lot of fun that was. And I have to say, maybe we should do this more often, right? We have taped, I think, twice in 7 years. And this was the second time. We just don't do it. It's a live show. We just couldn't make it happen with Uri. It was the only way that we could do it. And I thought, okay, if we're going to tape right before the show, then it is virtually live. It's just a couple-hour tape delay is the way that you have to look at it. But it was great fun hanging out with everybody tonight. So hello to everybody on YouTube. Now we are live. I've opened up the phone lines, 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. I got to get my head back in the game. Wow. It's thrown me for a loop. I was texting and hanging out. It was just bizarre to do that. Okay, so anyway, great fun. Thank you to Uri Geller, and I learned a lot. And the one thing that I can say, I got a chance to talk to Uri last week for maybe 15 minutes, and then a little bit today, and then of course doing the interview. A very cool guy. I mean, and there were some moments in the interview, and I wish that things were live, but there were some moments where he was saying things and answering questions before I had a chance to ask the question, and it was pretty strange to go through that. That doesn't happen with me very often in an interview, and it just makes you wonder if there was something else going on. Now, let's get to the spoon. I'm going to have to go back and look, but I held it up before we did the thing, and I placed it right here on the table, but it looks to me like it's going up in this direction, that it was like this before. And this is a thick, you can't bend this spoon. It's super thick stainless steel. You just can't bend it. You can't. It's very, very weird to me. And I don't know if it's just my mind playing tricks on me. The watch did not start running, and I was hoping that it would, the bridge. This watch is one of my favorite watches, and maybe 8-9 years ago, it just stopped working. It's a beautiful watch. You can see straight through it, and it's got a very special movement built in, but it just stopped working, and I had to stop wearing it. I was hoping it would start working, but it did not. Lots of posts out there from everybody posting pictures about watches. 2 out of 3 started, 20 years old, 30 years old, grandma's watch, grandfather's watch. Very interesting, and I think that is very cool. This one didn't kickstart, and I was hoping that it would. I keep double check. No, and see, the thing is, I can see through it, and I would know if it's running. Okay, so 747-228-2051. Let's do this. Got calls on hold. 747-228-2051. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Turn me down. Oh, hold on for a second. Hold on. That's me. I've got to figure out how to stop this. Hold on. That is me. I have to pause this. Okay. Sorry about that. You're live. Hello. Yeah, you're live. Sorry about that. I was playing back. I wasn't listening to the phone lines. But you're live now. Oh, man. Who's calling?
That's JT. I'm off tonight, so I don't have my horn with me.
Oh, JT. How you doing, man?
Hey, we're doing really good, man. We, had a lot of fun today up here with the kids and stuff, and got out and did some fishing.
Yeah, where'd you go? Where do you fish in Indianapolis? Geist?
No, well, the kids are up in Lafayette.
Oh, okay.
So we come up here. We have gone to Geist, yeah.
Yeah,
we go to Fairfield Lake. There's 4 lakes right there all together.
Yeah, you got lakes up in Lafayette. Down in Indianapolis, you have ponds. The only thing that's down there is Geist Reservoir.
Retaining ponds, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But every time you and I talk, whether it's on Coast or here, you're always driving your truck, and you got things to do, right? And you're a truck driver, man. That's what you do.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, I'm off tonight, though.
So now you got a free brain. And now tonight you won't have anything to say, JT. Watch.
Oh, I got plenty to say. I could talk all night.
Yeah, what'd you think of...
Just ask my wife.
What'd you think about...
Oh, your horn. That horn was awesome.
Yeah.
Is it? It's not silver, is it? Look, on the replay, it looked like maybe a bronze or...
No, it's chrome-plated, so...
Oh, okay. It kind of had maybe it's the lights in the studio. It looked like it had a...
Yeah, it's a Breg.
Oh, man.
Is that a good horn?
You got it hooked up good? Oh,
no,
yeah.
it's...
You got it hooked up good?
No, it's still here. I've got to get over... our family mechanic is... his name's Steve. He's I guess technically he would be my... cousin-in-law. He is the brother of my sister-in-law. So what does that make him?
Yeah, your brother-in-law.
Is that technically?
He's a brother of your sister-in-law?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's your brother-in-law.
Is it? Okay. I've never really thought about it.
I think so.
But he's got a great shop, and he does all of our work. So I've got to take it over to him and have him install it. But
that's an awesome-looking Jeep, too.
Yeah, the Jeep is cool. I love driving it. The one thing I didn't think a Jeep would do, JT, it changes your attitude on the road. You're a different, you're a different person, man. You're a different person.
Why do you think I got that shirt for my wife?
Yeah, I know, right?
For me, she hates that shirt. I want to get out of the house, man. I just put that shirt on, and I'm not going anywhere with you.
Yeah, there you go. What do you think of Uri Geller?
He's always awesome, and I just can't get over it. I don't know if I just really didn't cover it tonight, but there's still skeptics about him. I don't understand that. I mean, he's been tested, and he's just awesome.
Well, you know what? And
he's right on about Gaia. He's right on about the Gaia thing, like you were talking about. Like I brought up with James Richfield on Coast with you.
Yeah, right. This is the deal with somebody like Uri. We have to take one thing into view. Dude is famous. Okay? He is a virtual household name. And
everybody knows him.
Right. So when you...
Just like you, Jimmy.
I'm not even... Thank you, but no. Not even close. But this is the deal. This is the deal. When you have that kind of fame, that type of celebrity, what comes along with that is critics. And the bigger you are, where you're dealing with now, 100, 200, 300, 400, a billion people that are aware of you, then the number of critics goes up too as well. Me, I've got a dozen critics. He has got a couple of 100,000, right? It's a whole nother level of celebrity. Me, I've just got a tiny little fraction slice of things. I barely taste it. He has been exposed to this for decades. And to have him so level-headed right now,
that's what I was going to say. He does not waver. It doesn't bother him.
No. And his talent, his gifts are genuine. He has been out there in a laboratory setting, as well as the public setting, and that's the toughest critic of all, right? If you're going to go on Johnny Carson or Coast to Coast, that he's probably done 1,000 TV shows. I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
Johnny Carson, I can't believe he was on Johnny Carson.
Yeah, I think he was on a few times. He was on.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it.
Right,
so long ago.
Right, and so when you weather that storm. And you come out on the other side virtually unscathed. That's Uri, and he's such a pleasant guy. It was just a wonderful conversation, and he was answering questions.
Didn't he have a missile land by him once or something?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? The thing is this is the deal. And I talked to him about this off of the air. We dabbled a little bit about it tonight, but he has been involved with 3-letter agencies for real. Not imagination, not, or sort of, or had a friend of a friend, or no. He has been on the inside and at the front. Yes. And you have to, when he says it, you have to stop and listen. The critics out there that want to say, and they want to go there. They're going there with somebody that legitimately has been involved and tested and used and utilized and all around the world for all kinds of different reasons, documented situations. And that is fascinating to me. The secret life of Walter Mitty, right? You live in this duality thing. Uri Geller is the example of that for real. because when he's going on national television, JT, and he's sitting there doing an interview and bending spoons and fixing watches, that's the entertainment side. What was he doing earlier that day? Right? What did he do the day before? Who was he wrapped up with? That is crazy to me. That is crazy, and I think it's very cool. I think it's very cool. I think it's very cool.
And he's got that attitude, you know. Either and I got it. I think you said you got it. Either you like me or you don't. If you don't like me, no big deal.
Yeah,
don't talk to me, you know.
Somebody posted over in YouTube. I don't know who it was, but they're all listening right now, and so I want to give my hats off. Somebody posted up in YouTube said, "Uri Geller's on tonight." That's like Elvis, right? And it's like that, and I'm totally with that statement. Totally with it. It was a lot of fun, and I really look forward to having him on again, where we are able to. The first interview, JT, is always the one where we talk about the past and we get all these questions answered, and the next conversation is going to be at another level, and I really look forward to it. Well, listen, I'm going to get to
something to say about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Something to say about you. I mean, you got him on there now. Now, I mean, you're in the game. You're in the big show now. You know.
No, it's all about you, JT. Hey, listen, have a great night, and just do me a favor. Go to Steak and Shake. Go to White Castle. Go to Waffle House. Enjoy those.
Fire.
What's that?
St. Almost Fire.
Man,
St. Almost Fire.
Is it still there?
Oh yeah.
Is it really?
That's one thing. It's unique to Indianapolis. You know how Indy has that Indy stuff. You know. Oh yeah.
I remember.
A couple put their picture on the wall last year, like about October.
Right.
They got all those pictures on the wall.
Right.
They got the same kind of frame. They slapped it up there. They glued it up there. And somebody knows who's that, you know, because they got all those celebrity pictures, and they had it. They looked for them for 2 weeks. They finally found them, man. I mean, it was funny.
I remember a place on 21st and Shadeland called Steak and Ale. Is it still there?
I believe it is.
Really?
I believe it is.
Man, I got to get back to Indy, man. I just have to get back to Indy.
Just for the food, right? Just for the food.
Man, Indy, there is a vibe that you get from a city like Indianapolis. You get it in Cincinnati, you get it in Columbus, you get it in Chicago. You know, you get it all over the Midwest. And Indianapolis is an example of that. You know, the people there, just like across the Midwest. It's, you know, I'm just not singling out Indianapolis. I'm from Indy, and I know what the people are like there, and I just miss it. And always.
I sent Rita.
Yeah, go ahead.
I sent Rita an email with some pictures of what I cooked today. Because you're the California sauce boss, and I'm the Indy sauce boss.
Oh, you think so?
No competition. Well,
okay.
No, I'm not competition. I'm saying you're the California one. I'm the Indy one. You got to look at those pictures if you can find that email. And yeah.
Well, you know, I say it all. I say it all the time on the air, and I want. Not only Indianapolis, but the Midwest to understand that this Midwestern boy, graduate of Warren Central High School, came out here, is on the radio here in Los Angeles, and I am not some L.A. born or New York or whatever. No, I'm from the Midwest. And I represent, and I will get on the air and talk I will get on the air, JT, and talk about Waffle House and sausage, gravy, and biscuits with pride. That is the truth.
Are you Italian? You have Italian descent?
Everybody asks me that. I have no clue. I'm a mutt. Listening to my parents, allegedly, we're just of British descent. Right? That's what I have been told. I hear this Italian thing all the time, and I hear different comments. As far as I know, I'm all UK. That's what I know. I don't know. And what does that even mean, right? What is
I'm half Italian half Italian, and my mom said half hillbilly. So she's from Kentucky. So
that sounds like me. JT, have a good night, man, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah,
I'll be back to work tomorrow night.
Okay. All right. Honk, honk. All right. JT from Indianapolis, and sorry about that. Man, I just love talking to JT. He's great. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Ben.
Hey, Ben. How are you, brother?
Doing really good, Jimmy. Doing really good. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, I thought this was Ben Trout. This is another Ben.
Yeah, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
How you doing, Ben?
It's been tough going, but we're surviving. That's
wait, this is Ben from YouTube.
Yep, Ben Cannon, that's me.
All right, how you doing, man? Well, that was cool hanging out on YouTube tonight, man. That was...
I thought it was amazing, and we got a really good crowd tonight. People, I guess, had been commenting on that, and it was an amazing show considering it wasn't live, so to speak, that it was taped.
Right.
I had never listened to URI speak before. I knew all about him, had read about him, and I was completely blown away, Jimmy, completely.
Well, and this is the other thing for me, going over to YouTube and having that rapid-fire chat. Right, that is no joke. You have to, you've got to focus, man. You have to focus. You can't let your. That is intense over there. You guys have a really good time.
So I'm a gamer, right? So I'll be online playing and try to follow it. You can't do both. I can't multitask like that. You either have to stay on it and listen, or do something else different. You can't split your time. It's too much.
Yeah, you saw what I had to do. I had to raise my chair, move my keyboard over, move the mice over, and just here we go. There's just
it required prep work, right?
I had no idea. Idea. YouTube is amazing. That was
it really is.
It was a lot of fun. I like all of the chat rooms that we have. The Sandbox, which I've been focused on for years and years and years, and Spreaker and the other things that go on there is so much fun. I had no idea that that's what YouTube is like. And I don't have a chance. I don't watch other people's YouTube live things. I'm too busy, right? So tonight I got my feet wet. You guys are amazing over there.
Well, we have an amazing time, and the community's been amazing. And as I said, everything you and Reed have done for us and for the community, and just with the show, I've turned so many people on to your show since. I guess I've been listening for 7 years now, and it's just like I said, it's been incredible. Well, the whole experience.
And I'm glad that you called in, and I'm glad that I was able to hang out in the chat room. In that all of this is real. The show is real.
Yep.
I'm real. This is all live. You're real. This is the guitars, pulling those down. So really quick, I've got 60 seconds left before I roll credits. Did you say you were a guitar player?
I am.
What do you have?
I am. I have a Jap Strat, a 40th anniversary Floyd Rose American Strat that I got from my dad.
Ooh.
I have a Fender Acoustic Electric, but my favorite, you're going to like this, I think, a 1986 Gibson Explorer that was repainted. It has a sparkle blue paint job, and blue's my favorite color. So that's my favorite guitar.
I've got to make the move on an Explorer. I have a baby Explorer. Have you ever seen it?
I have. Well, not yours, but I've seen baby Explorers, yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go across the studio here. I'll pull this down.
Uh-oh.
Okay, look at the camera. Look at this little cruiser.
Yep.
Look at that. Little baby Explorer, short scale, shredding machine, man. Shredding machine.
So did you have that? I mean, is it custom, or do they just...
I'm a shopper,
Look at
man.
that.
Yeah, no, isn't it cool?
It's very cool.
Little tiny
cool.
thing, man. Little tiny thing, and you just on that thing. It's fun to play.
Well, that's why I like mine so much, because I'm not a big guy, and so it's it fits me. I used to have this preconceived notion that Gibsons, because the Les Paul were heavier.
Right.
So I learned on a Strat, and once I made that move to that Gibson Explorer, it's just I play that one the most out of all of them.
This baby Explorer, I got to roll credits and get out of here, Ben. But let me tell you something. That baby Explorer, The Black Sabbath Machine, man. The Black Sabbath.
I love it. Yep. Yes, indeed.
Hey, Ben, have a great night, my friend. And
I will, Jimmy. This was such a pleasure to get on the phone and just to talk to you and hang out with everybody. I mean, it was an amazing night for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ben, and we'll see you tomorrow night. We got Randall Carlson. Randall Carlson, the beard of knowledge.
Can't wait.
Have a great night.
Yep. You too, Jimmy. Hey, go back Lee Tepe.
Go back Lee Tepe, Ben, from Nolans. Thank you, man. And with that, I am going to get out of here. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2020 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. They cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, Randall Carlson, right here. Until then, everybody be safe. Go back Lee Tepe.